Life is a long journey entailing a lot of experiences wherein it holds different purpose, meaning to different individuals. Well, the competition and rush today to achieving something has been making people lose touch of conscious living. Well, here, life coaching plays a vital role. A life coach can be a strategic partner towards growth through acceptance and self discovery. Today, we have Anshita Sharma, a psychological well being coach and healer, with us, who will share her insights on life coaching. Congratulations, Anshita, on being selected for Top 10 Prominent Life Coaches 2025 Award by Silicon India.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We are highly obliged to have you here with us.
Same here. I am extremely excited to be here.
So,
Thank
let's
you.
begin with the interview.
Absolutely.
So, Anshita, every transformational leader has a pivotal moment. What was the turning point for you that led you to dedicate your life to life coaching, healing, and spiritual growth?
Yeah, so for me, my journey began when I took discipleship from my guru, Paramahansa Yogananda. And that's when I was guided to become a healer. And basically, that was my gift, unique gift, which was given to me by birth. But I realized about my gift only after taking discipleship, after doing meditation and some spiritual practices around 10 years back. And it's been 3 years when I started being more serious about this role, but I've been on this journey for close to 10 years now.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Yes, thank you.
So, Shine and Inspire is more than a platform. Basically, we can say it's a movement. So, what led you to create this company, and how does it help as a step by step guide for individuals seeking inner change and manifestation?
Yeah, so Shine and Inspire, this journey started with the book which I have. I would love to share my book with everyone. So that's my book, Shine and Inspire. And the journey started when I started writing this book. I was going through my own inner journey of healing, transformation, and I started writing what I was going through in my own journey of discovering myself, self discovery. And that's when I was guided to start sharing it with others, and I started my organization. So we provide coaching, we provide healing, we do workshops for corporates, and a lot of other things like speaking sessions, and much more. We are giving a lot of aura reading practices. So I'm also aura reader. So I just wanted to explore my gifts, and that's how I wanted to start this company. After my book, I was like, let's start an organization which provides holistic healing to people who are seeking that sort of support.
That's wonderful. So, you blend psychology, mindfulness, energy work, and spiritual practices. So, how did you reach this integrative model? And in what ways does this differ from other traditional coaching and therapies?
See, if I talk about healing, it's a much deeper work. So 70% of what we are is subconscious. So basically, healing and these therapeutic modalities work much at a deeper level. What are your core beliefs about life? What are your limiting beliefs which are stopping you to move forward in life? So it's a much deeper work. These modalities work at a deeper level. That's what I can say. And it's more about experience. I can say that once you go through this therapeutic process, you start releasing a lot of things which are not serving you. So there's a process of letting go in this entire journey of healing and energy work. So you start letting go of things which are not serving you anymore, and that's how you start discovering who you truly are.
Acceptance.
Yes, acceptance. Yeah.
So, you talk about aligning soul, body, and mind. So, how do you help individuals recognize this imbalance and work through realizing, restoring harmony?
Yeah, so see, mind, body, soul, they are all interconnected. When they are not in harmony, you will not be functioning at your best. All the diseases, the uneases are caused when there is disharmony in the mind, body, and soul. And how you will get to know about it is you listen to your body. You observe your body. How are you feeling? How is your breath? That is going to tell you exactly how you're feeling. How are you feeling? Are you taking a shallow breath, or how is your body feeling? Are you feeling at ease? That is going to tell you Are you in alignment with the universal life force, or there is disharmony there? And how you can balance it is there are multiple practices like meditation, like healing modalities. A lot of modalities are there which support you in bringing harmony. Number one is yoga. Yoga practices. When you start doing yoga, physical yoga, that is the best thing anyone can do to bring harmony in their life. Just start following yogic practices or doing yoga. Just breathing, deep breathing out, in and out. You will start feeling the natural rhythm of life.
So many differ with different like types of yoga also. Like
Yeah.
some are mixed with Pilates and all. So
Yes.
people get confused. Even the meditation formats also, like
Right.
different people have come up with like Western, Indian. It is being mixed up
Yes.
today.
Yeah.
People get confused with what to practice. So, what do you say about that?
See, nowadays there are a lot of modalities out there, but what I can say is what resonates with you as an individual. What kind of yoga, for example, I don't believe in power yoga or going to the gym. I believe in doing slow yoga, more focus on breathing exercises and doing it in my own rhythm rather than just rushing and doing it like, power yoga, run, go to gym, do this and that. Maybe that is working for some people. Maybe some people feel good when they go to gym or when they, do like maybe dancing also helps me. I also get into dancing and yoga are two things which I really enjoy. So do an exercise which you enjoy. Just follow your heart, I can say, rather than following what others are telling you to do. If it resonates with you, whether we talk about meditation, which kind of meditation resonates with you? Right? So with meditation and finding a guru, it's mostly a calling. If you are called to follow a certain path, meditative path, you will be called to, you will be attracted to go there. You will not know the reason why you want to go there, but you will be like, I want to do this. And then slowly and gradually just follow your heart. Just feel, is it something which is synchronized with what I really feel? Am I feeling at ease? Is my life getting better in what I am doing? I think that is going to give you all the answers. Don't seek answers outside. Ask your heart. You will know which meditation practice is resonating with you, your soul. That's
Trial
important.
leads to realization, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Trials are very important. See, if I talk about me, I have tried every modality. That's when you try everything, you get to know this is what you don't want, right? So with practice, when you know this is something which I don't want, you become clearer of what you exactly want. So just try. If you feel like trying, it's okay. Give it a try and then decide, is this something meant for me or no? But be quick in your decision rather than waiting and wasting your time and then coming back to the real thing which was meant for you. So time is also very important, but trial is always good. Yeah, but I mean, follow your heart. See, if you're following your soul, maybe the first cut or the first inspiration is going to be the right one.
Right. We often look for perfection and delay the things.
Yeah. Perfectionism is a big myth, and I mean, we all chase that. And I myself was a perfectionist some time back. You have to do everything, in the right way, right manner. You can't do this wrong. But then I started embracing imperfection. There is nothing called perfectionism. This is what I have realized now. It's all about embracing where you are in your journey, accepting yourself as you are, loving yourself as you are.
Thank you. Thank you for the answer. So right now we were talking about acceptance, realization. So as we came across your website, there was a mention about awakening revolution. So what does this mean to you? Like how has it impacted the people around you, inspired them through their journey?
Yeah, see, when I say awakening revolution, I use this term many a times. It's there in my book. I talk about it a lot often. So it's all about people being very conscious of what they are doing. So if we see in today's world, people are very, very conscious of what they are doing. So, and when I say awakening revolution, I mean people are wanting to turn inward. More and more people are moving towards spirituality. They know they are not getting happiness or fulfillment from anywhere else. Despite of having the money, the best car, still there is this, uneasiness in the mind. So what's more,
Some void.
some void, right? So everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, but many conscious souls are turning inward. They are seeking bigger meanings, purpose in life. The big questions have come up. It's like a normal discussion nowadays in many communities, that what's your life purpose, what's the true meaning of life, are you happy, are you fulfilled with what you are doing, what's your passion. See, many years back these topics didn't even exist. So when I say awakening revolution, I mean conscious living. People are conscious about what they eat, despite of the fact they cannot control a lot in what you're eating. We don't know whether it's pure or not, but still people are reading the ingredients. They want to know more, deeper. And if I talk about my work, so absolutely, when clients come to you, they are already very much aware about the normal terms which are being used, like trauma or depression, anxiety. These terms didn't exist long time back, right? Now people are more conscious. Even as a client, they are very aware. When they come to you, they know exactly what we want. I want this job, or I've been dealing with this trauma, I want to work on this. So they do their research. So consciousness is what I mean when I talk about awakening revolution. And also we are moving towards Dwapar Yuga. If we talk about the yogic cycle, right? So we are moving towards Dwapar Yuga. So more and more souls are being acknowledging the energy age. That it's all energy, right? We never used to use these terms even 10 years back. Even meditation, I remember when I started this journey on meditation, this path, everyone stopped me. They were like, why do you want to meditate? What happened to you? And now everyone is doing it, right? So that's the change. People are seeking more in life.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
That is very true. People are overwhelmed with this thought that I want to be aware about body, mind, soul.
Yes, absolutely, yes. So mind, body, soul are all synchronized. See, if your body is not working fine, you cannot sit in meditation, right? If your basics are not met, like food, shelter, or the basic clothing, if you talk about Maslow's law of hierarchy, if you're struggling to basically meet your basic needs, you will not think about the bigger purpose, what's my passion. It all comes when your basic is set. That's when you will thrive. You will be
back.
you'll feel like giving back to the society. You'll feel like living a more purposeful life, and you will find fulfillment in what you're doing, or you will try to find it, right? That's what I can say.
Right.
Yes.
So from past life regression to inner child integration and even Reiki, what role do these modalities play in helping people move past trauma or limiting beliefs?
See, this is a much deeper work, especially for souls who are ready to see themselves in the mirror. Because there's a lot of shadow work that is done in past life regression or inner child integration or trauma management. In trauma, basically, you have to connect with your pain to heal the pain. So you cannot heal what you cannot feel. So it's a deeper work. These are some examples which I can share with you, but it's all about experience. So there are two kind of sessions that people take. One is exploration, second is healing. One is where they just want to explore what had happened in this life, and second, they want to heal something, right? So clients are very aware and conscious even about these terms nowadays, right? So they come well prepared. Yeah.
So earlier there was a mention about aura healing by you. It's a huge thing working with aura, with so many people around, multiple clients you are attending in a day. So, and even being firm with your own values, not being biased. So as a transformational leader, how do you work in alignment with your own values while attending the clients?
See, one is aura I do aura clearing for clients also as a healer. But if you're asking me about my own values and working on myself while I am dealing with the clients, see, discipline is very, very important if you are dealing with clients and coaches, as a therapist, or doing this much deeper work as a healer. Healing requires a lot of energy, right? So you have to clear your aura. You need to have a regular practice of maybe meditation, yoga, getting up early, spending time with your own self in the silence is the best thing that one can give to oneself, right? Having discipline, taking a nature walk. So all of these practices are very important. And see, as a coach also, we all also go through our own journey. Nobody is a perfectionist here, right? So you have to work on your own journey. You have to work on your own growth simultaneously, right? You have to work on your own healing all the time. You have to be conscious of where do you need change, right? So you have to be open for that and work towards it. So it requires, as I said, yoga, meditation, nature walk, and journaling. Journaling also really helps you to declutter your thoughts.
Right.
And another thing that I very frequently do is decluttering my outer world, like my house, my wardrobe, my, decluttering. I have a video on decluttering on my YouTube channel. Anyone who's wanting to go deeper on this topic on decluttering, I always emphasize a lot on having a clean, organized environment, which helps you to perform better, for sure.
It hinders our focus a lot. And
Absolutely.
there is like not mess things going around.
Yes, absolutely.
So you draw inspiration from Eastern spiritual therapies, systems like group therapy, meditation, energy work. So which of these do you think is more potent for the today's emotionally overwhelmed generation?
So that's a very interesting question, I must say. And it's not just today's generation. I think everybody in the current time and space, whoever is living currently, is basically overwhelmed many a times. Current generation majorly because maybe they are more in the chasing mode. They have to go out in the world to make money or chase things, material in life, and they are the ones who are more basically sandwiched between the expectations of life, I must say, right? And big desires and dreams that they have, so they are like in the phase of chasing and wanting more and more, right? What I can suggest is energy work and meditation go hand in hand, right? For everyone, right? For everybody, I can say, in current time and space. Meditation, when you start meditation, many people say, I cannot meditate. Why you cannot meditate is because sometimes when you start meditating, all your inner, unhealed parts or the garbage, so to say, which you have in your mind, it starts coming at the surface. And then you start feeling very uneasy. One, in your silence. Many people cannot sit in silence. If you tell them to sit for 10 minutes in silence, they will start feeling so uncomfortable. Their body will start sweating and they'll be like, I cannot sit. They'll pick up their phone and start doing something or the other, or call someone, right? Many people cannot do that. So loneliness is another topic in itself, which can be covered. But meditation, to meditate also, you have to heal your inner parts. When they're coming at the surface, that's where energy work helps, right? So both go hand in hand, but even if you can start with one, you can do it, right? Even if you can start with meditation, just follow whichever path is aligned with you, whichever your calling is, just start meditating. When I say meditation, some people are like, what to do? Just focus on your breath. Just focus on your breath, inhale and exhale. Focus is something which you can try to do. It's not easy for some people, but your mind is getting something to do, right? So you can just focus on your breaths. That's how you can start. Otherwise, there are a lot of videos available, lot of teachers there who are teaching meditation. We also do a lot of workshops on meditation. You can also join some of our workshop. And energy work requires a little bit of technical understanding, but both go hand in hand. But right now, wherever you are in your journey. For all the people who are watching this, just start where you are. Silence. Sit in silence. That's what I can say. Meditation, when I say, observe silence, observe your thoughts, observe your breath 5 minutes a day, then 10 minutes, then increase it to more, 15 minutes. That's how it will start helping you to bring balance, and it's gonna help you to work on your overwhelming emotions. And also, I can say, apart from what you have shared, what really helps is journaling. Just write your thoughts on a piece of paper every day. 20 minutes, just write your thoughts on a piece of paper. 20 minutes and just throw it off. Do it for 21 days. 21 days, just write your thoughts, tear it off, or maintain a diary of how the day went. Journaling, right? Journaling really helps to bring you to the center, right? So easiest way is journaling or connect with nature. Apart from that, take a nature walk. If you cannot do anything, if you cannot meditate, if you cannot journal, connect with nature. That's going to help you to come to the center. Observe nature, trees, flowers, clouds, whatever is natural, which is gifted to us. That's going to help you to feel the calm which we all have within.
Okay. So, what message would you like to give to the readers who are standing at the brink of loss, not feeling stuck, and all, not having any idea where to go ahead, what to look for in life?
See, first of all, you can only start where you are currently. If you have that feeling of feeling lost, or one, if you are aware that you are lost. So there are two kind of people. Person A, who's aware that I am lost, I don't know what to do. Person B, he has a comfort zone in that being lost. He has no question, right? So I'm talking about the person A who is aware that I am lost, I am stuck, I don't know what to do, and is asking the universe for support, or generally is an aware person, is a conscious soul. What they can do is connect with nature. Nature is the best healer, because we cannot tell someone who's at a very low energy. See, if you can exercise, nothing like it. If you can dancing is again the best therapy. If you can do yoga, gymming. Otherwise, if you can't do anything, right, just go for a walk, connect with nature, connect with plants, see, just observe the trees, or listen to some high uplifting chants. Music has energy. The kind of music that you listen to impacts your mind, impacts your mood. You might have observed the day you are listening to sad music, right? You start feeling sad, and you may start crying also sometimes, but you were in a happy mood some time back, right? Crying is very, very important. At the same time, see, at times to some of our clients, we also tell them that you cry. You find ways to cry because you have not released the stored emotions, or stored unhealed parts, or the trauma from your body. So catharsis is very, very important. But coming back to the person A who's feeling lost or stuck in life, connect with nature, listen to some high uplifting chants. If you can read, see, it's very difficult for somebody who's in that state to read, to focus. So we cannot expect too much at that stage. So what you can do, as I said, nature, drink lots of water, work on your physical health, eat good food, be conscious of what you are eating, right? Do not eat junk or unhealthy food. The energy which food carries also impacts your energy level. So start with one step at a time. Nature walk, as I said, music, good food. And once you have kind of crossed this, this feeling, when, for example, on a scale of 10, if for example you were at 2, now you are at 4, then you start getting into maybe yoga or dancing, or connect with a healer or a therapist, right? Seek help. See, seeking help is not at all, it shouldn't be a challenge, or it shouldn't stop people to seek help just because they feel they will be judged by others. If they feel they need help, they should seek out, connect to a therapist or maybe a friend. who's uplifting. See, the environment or the company that you keep is very, very important. So try to connect with your high uplifting friends or circle. If you are feeling lost or in a low state, be very conscious of your company. Do not meet your friend who's also in that state, right? Who's also lost or who's also in a sad state all the time, or maybe in that phase of life. Try to connect with people who are little uplifting in nature, or join communities. See, the power of community is very strong. Join groups, join communities which are uplifting, right? Meditation groups, or even a book club, or maybe any sort of community. Just try to join maybe a yoga community. Don't do anything, just go sit there, observe. Don't do anything initially. If you are not feeling like doing it, don't do it. At the content that you watch, right, what you see is also very important. So try to watch uplifting contents. Do not watch stories of all the things that are happening in the world, which are not good, which are not healthy, right? In that state, try to watch things which are uplifting, sometimes motivational talks, or those things also help, or anything uplifting, right? Chants, listen to chants.
See, but it is very difficult now in nowadays when it's a reel era.
Yeah.
When everything scrolling Instagram, like multiple, the way you said, many sorts of contents are there. To filter out which one we should watch is really difficult.
Yeah, but the algorithm is going to give you what you will watch frequently, right? So
that
there
AI is quite helpful nowadays.
Yeah. So you be conscious of what you are watching. If you feel this is draining, don't watch. See, when we talk about news, it's good to know about something maybe once you have watched it. But many a times we continue to watch it 24/7, the same news. They are sharing it in a different way. One channel is sharing it in a different way. Then a lot of videos are getting created. The same trauma, the same incident, everyone is sharing, and your watch time is now 20 hours of the same topic. Information is the same. So there you be mindful of what you are watching. See, ultimately you have to be in charge of your own life, and ultimately it's your life. If you want to take conscious steps to bring positive changes in your life, you have the power to do it. But if there is a will, there is a way. If you do not have the will to change or work on your inner self, then it's okay. No one will be impacted if your life is not changing, right? Ultimately, it's your life. If you want to bring those positive changes, which ultimately are going to attract more positive. See, the frequency at which we vibrate, that attracts more of that towards us, right? So it's all about what kind of life do you want to live. If you have a will, I want to change, I want to move out of this stuck situation, I want to move out of the way I was feeling, you start taking baby steps. You don't have to take like big steps at the first go, right? Take baby steps, one step at a time. And when you start taking those one step every day, you will not realize after a certain time where you have reached. When you look back at your life, you will be like, wow, that had happened sometime, in my life, and you will forget it. Your issues will change. See, our issues, our problems, challenges will be there, right? As a human, they will be there. But now you will be having maybe a different challenge, but you will be out of it only if you do something about it. Action is also very important. You can't just wait for some magic to happen in your life, that someone will come and save me. People are very busy nowadays. No one has time for you. If you are ready to take charge of your life, bring that shift, bring that change, you move towards it and start shining and inspiring others with your light also. When you change, the world changes, right? So when you change, you start sharing your story maybe someday, and that inspires others to also change.
Really, this life coaching topic in itself is so deep, and the awareness is still to come around.
Yes. Absolutely.
Anshita, it has been engrossing enough. The insights that you shared on self-acceptance, personal growth, professional growth, healing. So any final thoughts you would like to mention on this self-discovery topic?
Self-discovery. So it's a journey, right? So when I say self-discovery is all about connecting to who you are, When I say who you are, it's basically a journey of finding what you love, what you don't like loving what you do, doing what you love, loving what you do, right? So aligning your life in such a way where you are doing what you are passionate about. When I say self discovery, it's all about finding your gifts, your talents, and sharing your talents with the world, rather than many a times we say that focus on your weakness, change this, change this. Why? You focus, see, weakness, you learn from it. See, wherever, if it's needed in your role or whatever you are doing, you can build up that skill. But what you can do is you work on your strengths. Each one of us has so much potential that we can share, or so many gifts that we have which we can share with the world, which are hidden sometimes from you also. You don't know that you have this gift, but you have it, right? So self discovery is a path where, one, you find your strengths. Second, healing and all is a part of the process, right? You can remove the layers which you are not, right? Which you are not. When you will start removing the layers which you are not that unworthy person. You will remove it, you will become worthy, right? You will start removing that feeling of feeling unloved. You will become lovable, right? You will feel you are lovable. You were lovable earlier also. So the self discovery helps you to peel off things which you don't need, letting go of things which are not serving you anymore. And that's when you find the star within you, right? The person who carries infinite potential within them, the gifts that they have which are there to share with the world. And how you can do this entire process, here I would definitely like to talk about my book, Guide Towards Your Journey of Transformation, Change and Manifestation. So basically this book has chapters which basically are going to support you in your journey of self-discovery. The first chapter is Knowing Thyself, accepting yourself. So the chapters are created in such a way where it will help you to peel off the layers which you are not, and support you to find which you are actually, right? So for anyone who has not bought the book yet, so just order your copy today. It's a true guide for anybody who's on a journey of self transformation, who's on a path to find their passions, to manifest what they truly desire, right? So it's basically for people who want to manifest their true desires, who want to bring change in their life, right? So so it's a guide towards your journey of transformation, change and manifestations, as it's written. So order your copy today. And thank you so much for having me today. It was a wonderful discussion that we had, and thank you everyone for your time today. And keep shining and inspiring everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Same here, same here.